This video probably won't get tons of views. The market is saturated. Everybody's talking about Maui. Anybody tuned in and listening, I'm going to warn you right now. I don't mince words. So if you're easily butthurt, you might want to get off of this. My first reaction to the Maui fires was predictable. A bunch of millionaires whining about their burned houses and burned pets. Meh. I don't feel sorry for the rich. I never have, especially today. I don't have to. But then when you found out just what was going on in Maui, that a large group of people were Pacific Islanders, lost their homes that are very old, lost the whole community, then it takes on a different shape. Now, I had looked at moving to Hilo years ago. I could not afford it. The cost of life in Hawaii is extremely exorbitant. And I don't appreciate the fact that the Islanders refer to us from mainland as Howleys. I'm not a fan of name calling, but I'm going to be saying some harsh things. There's an entrenched attitude of those labeling us Howleys that they don't like us. But the truth is, they have a reason to feel the way they do. I don't show racism. I've had it dished at me a lot. I'm in Georgia. The city I live in is 57% black. And I see a lot of stuff here that's not cool. A reasonable video that I listened to by a black YouTube artist called Da Vinci 2-Bit gave a level-headed sound approach to just what happened. You had hurricane force winds off the coast, knocking over power lines, transformers, sparked art, and the winds just pushed all that through. People tried to say it was direct energy weapons. At first, I thought, my gosh, did somebody do this? But I thought, no. But one thing keeps coming up again and again. You have to sift through the conspiracy theories. And one thing that comes up again and again and again and again is all these sharks coming up, offering to buy Maui people's burned property for pennies on the dollar. Then another thing comes out that the insurance companies who Maui citizens paid their insurance policies and premiums, now they're saying due to zoning issues, we're not going to pay. So now you have Maui people that have nothing. And the governor is an ass. There's no doubt in my mind that he's an ass. The first time I saw him, our hearts break for what happened in Maui. I thought, professional, no pulse, no emotion. I thought, yeah, I see you're really hurting. And the same with the Hawaiian newscasters. We bring you tragic news. They get in their car, they cut people off in traffic and go home and complain about their stressful day being a news anchor. I don't like news broadcasters in the U.S. They're all scripted. They're contrived. They live in a make-believe world. They're told to report what they're told to report. And they don't care. They do not care until it hits them personally. I submit to you Don Henley's song, Dirty Laundry. The bubble-headed bleach blonde comes on at 5. She can tell you about the plane crash with a gleam in her eye. Our news has become so ritualistic, formalistic. There's no heart and compassion to it. But Maui, the people have suffered something huge. But then as the days roll by, all of a sudden everybody's pointing at Oprah, Zuckerberg, and Bezos. All own properties there. Oprah Winfrey's disgusting anyway. She owns all this money, but she's not exactly the epitome of health and fitness. Instead of spending all those monies on her gluttonous lust for oversized mansions that she does not need, she might want to start losing weight. Zuckerberg, I can't stand the guy. Zuckerberg is, there was a video that said he has sued Pacific Islander natives trying to get their land. People were buying up real estate near Zuckerberg for whatever crazy reason they wanted to be near Zuckerberg. I'm like, you guys don't set your sights high, do you? So what did he do? Bought up all the land around him. We have a corruption in the U.S. right now that is so deep and wide with the Bidens, with the social media oligarchs, which have turned into the SS, Adolf Hitler style tactics of censoring anything they don't agree with, using the word science, not believing in true science themselves, but hijacking the word science that has a whole different meaning to them. You know, telling you spherical heating is a reality. And even here, I can't say what I want to say because the jackasses of the Google research team that don't research facts are looking to censor anybody they don't agree with. Even making false claims that the information you're giving is harmful. Harmful. People either agree with it or not. The Democrat administration in the U.S., since Biden taking the helm, has seen a dramatic increase in violent crime, theft, and robbery, so much so that Walmart, grocery stores, everything in America has gone straight up high because of all the crime and theft. And people like me who don't steal are paying more out of pocket for food. Everything. Maui is interesting. It's a major land grab. People want that property. That's some of the most prima real estate in the world. And I find it interesting that I didn't see this. I wasn't able to verify it, so I'm going off hearsay. I was told that Oprah gave pillows to the Maui people that lost everything. How generous. You guys want to start talking about things, go to Zuckerberg and go to Mr. Bezos. They're billionaires beyond belief. Okay? Oprah Winfrey is worth a couple $1 billion. Between all three of those clowns, they can afford to rebuild your lost homes and your businesses and everything else. They're not going to do it. Instead, Zuckerberg gives $350 million to buy voting machines, which we all know what the reason was for that. Bezos, all of these clowns live in mansions. All of these people own, these are people that vote for a party that's claiming we're destroying the environment. But here's the problem with that. None of these people are living in teepees. None of them are living in shacks. None of them are living off a single income, paycheck to paycheck, like many of us. They're living the good life. When we had COVID-19, they all smiled and said, just stay home. Amazon, Facebook, Google, all these people raked in massive all-time profits because they got all of us sorry suckers addicted to the internet. And that was all we had to do was stare at the internet. YouTube, Google, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that. But now he's being screwed. And I will say it is neocolonialism, absolutely. But I have a message for Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey is not a good human being. The media portrays her that way. The black people love and adore the hell out of her. She's made some statements that I'm going to take issue with. She has said that my race is privileged. This is coming from a woman who's worth a couple $1 billion in the US as a citizen of the US, running a talk show. Most of her monies came from upper middle class white housewives that put her on pedestal status. She didn't make that money off blacks. She didn't make the lion's share of that money off blacks. Oprah Winfrey talks about whites having privilege. I don't own property in Hawaii. Oprah Winfrey doesn't realize I bought a ghetto house in the black neighborhood in a 57% black community. And I'm not done. I'm working on this. I've been working on it for 3.5 years. Building materials went through the damn roof. It was up to $9 for a 2x4. Plywood was $70, $80, $100 a sheet. Oprah doesn't know any of that kind of stuff because price increases, taxing the hell out of energy companies like Biden's doing, and then telling everybody to go electric when the power grid suffers every time it's hot. Not a lot of brains going on. And it's obvious the Democrats and these leaders are programming things to destroy while they continue to make fat pots of money. We already know that Biden and his son are involved in all kinds of corrupt, Burisma, underhanded deals, and nothing's happening to them because they're buddies with the FBI, buddies with the CDC, that are major respected institutions in the United States are no longer major respected institutions. They've been bought off. They're buddies with the left. That ought to shock the hell out of everybody. The media is not reporting what's going on in Hawaii, though CBS made a feeble attempt to say that people were trying to do land grabs. But it was toned way, way down. Let's fly out a plain Jane, blasé white woman walking on a Maui beach, looking like she's important, telling us about this. It's like, woman, we're all miles ahead of you. And now you're going to do a story. But what you're not mentioning is all the billionaires that own property out there not lifting a damn finger to help. Oprah gave out pillows. Does she care about Pacific Islanders? Does she care about their right to their land? Let me tell you something. The Obamas believed that whites are empire builders. But please know, the Obamas didn't move to Compton. They didn't move to the, Detroit or Gary, Indiana, or South Chicago. They moved to Martha's Vineyard, which is as lily white and as money oriented as you can get. Obviously, he's not too concerned about ice water and polar ice caps and the oceans, doing this. Because if he was so concerned about that, even though he said that, why you buy on an island that's right there at sea level? And dumb people who listen to CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, PBS, NPR, all of those are corrupt as hell. They don't tell the truth. They're biased. They're leftists. They rewrite stories. They're storytellers with a mission, like KGB Soviet era controlled television. They are giving you what they want you to believe, not the truth. Rumors abound that they want to turn Maui into an AI or smart city. Local residents could not get building permits to do things and modifications to their homes. The only time that building permits would be issued if there was a emergency that happened. You ever notice how the white man gets involved in something? They got to be professional and they come out with the clipboards and all these rules and all this crap while they conveniently sucked Hawaii away from the natives. And they justified it. And they allowed King Dole to show up, white guy, to grow pineapple there. And then when he was done, they planted non-native grasses, which catch fire and raise all kinds of hell. I find as I get older that our corporate Caucasian world is very good about ramming everybody through the same funnel. I don't do well with that. I see it in the workplace. I see it all in our country. I comment on women. Got to have the SUV, got to have Starbucks, got to have a dog. You're corporate, you're bought, you're owned. When America's got problems, big problems, and you see stupid PetSmart commercials or Petsco or whatever, and you hear a barking dog, and you got some flaky white woman out there, I care about the health of my dog. Aren't you the same one that almost ran me over in a crosswalk in your SUV with your dog on your lap? And my safety and my worth didn't matter to you. And see, I'm Pacific, and we talk about things that offend people. I wanted to move to Hawaii because I wanted to be in the South Pacific. I wanted to be closer to the Philippines. But after doing research and talking to somebody who moved from the States, it was said that the islanders will never accept you. You will not get hired by any islander-owned businesses. Even though I'm drug-free and a good worker. I don't like hearing stuff like that. And I try to give weight to what I'm learning. But at the same time, I think of the Philippines. The U.S. was in the Philippines at one time. Some of my friends said, too bad the U.S. doesn't own the Philippines. We moved there. I said, no. I'm glad the U.S. doesn't own the Philippines. They'd have Walmarts and Home Depots and corporate bullshit all over the place. I like the uniqueness of exotic faces and outfits and music and cultures. And America tries to homogenize, get everybody in syncretism. I don't like that. Maui and Zuckerberg and Oprah and Bezos need to be shit shamed for the fact that they're not lifting a finger to do anything to help their neighbors that live in Maui. This is the party that says whites are privileged, whites are racist, conservatives are involved with the KKK, and yeah, Democrats. They're the ones going over there and trying to get that land for nothing, forcing the natives off. I hope Maui people and everybody will realize, keep voting Democrat, you're putting a noose around your neck. Google, the site I'm using right now is loaded with liberals. They're not objective, they're biased as hell. When I tried to talk about spherical heating, they pulled the video and said, this is a strike. You'd think I issued a death threat to a public school. I didn't. But you have people in the halls of power now on Google, YouTube, Facebook. You say something that doesn't agree with the narrative. I thought these were the same clowns that would cry freedom of speech when they burned the American flag. Now they're telling you, you can't say this, you can't do that. Got hypocrisy? But there's no doubt in my mind that they're trying to run Maui people off their land. The governor's response was pathetic. Biden's was even worse. When they asked him, what do you What do you got to say about Maui? No comment, smiles and ducks into Air Force One or whatever he was going into. These Democrats are fucking with my income, your income. Remember AOC and what she said? Anybody who voted for Trump should be a list made and they should be denied employment. You guys voted in these crappy people in this country, and you don't realize. You think they're going to be your friends? You think they're going to give you goodies out of their goodie bag? Take a look at every one of these leading Democrats. Look at the size of their house. Look at the size of their bank accounts. Look at how they got their hands in all kinds of other funds. And ask yourself, are they really modeling socialism? No, they're not. And Bezos is a greedy ass empire builder, a greedy ass monopolizer. Amazon is killing everything. And he's not a good guy. He brings $15 an hour jobs where I live. Everybody I work with now, several people went out, they quit. They said it's too much. Bezos doesn't care about long-term employment, doesn't care about a worker making a living, doesn't care about loyalty. He figures there's enough people to keep the industry running, and he doesn't care if they go through the shredder. That's kind of the Democrat philosophy anyway. They've killed 61 million children in the name of choice. The Democrats are evil. And when people tell me they're the party of compassion, is Zuckerberg offering to help these people rebuild and open up his wallet? Of course he isn't. You need to start investigating BlackRock and Vanguard too. They're sinister. Before you know it, they're going to own everything. Bezos, Zuckerberg, Oprah all have enough money. They could rebuild Maui and still have plenty in the till. They're not going to do it. I thought they were socialists. They're voting for the party that's promoting socialism. But do you notice? They want to defund the police. They want to talk about my race being bad. And look at Oprah. Overweight, no physique, not a pretty lady at all. That's not my opinion. She's not a pretty lady. I wouldn't want to see her naked at all. But forget all that. The inside of her, she's a selfish, gluttonous pig. Gluttony, overeating. Clearly, you see that. She's not preserving the environment, buying all these mansions for herself when people are struggling to pay rent in the U.S. Where I live here, it's $1,200 a month for rent in the city, starting. And the pay in the South U.S. is horrible. We had a guy, Oliver, north of Richmond. A very powerful song. I don't know what it is about people. There are some little sparks out there, like Oliver, Travis. They're getting tired of seeing what's going on. When are we going to stand up and tell this government, no more? You can't do this. You cannot do what you're doing. You cannot shut down pipelines and tax energy companies and keep fucking with our income while you're grabbing, stealing, and making goo gobs of cash. Why can't my video go viral? This needs to be shouted from every rooftop. Stop voting in these garbage politicians that are self-serving of both sides of the political fence, but more so the Democrats. They are sitting on massive collective piles of wealth. They're not lifting a finger. What they're doing is taking government tax dollars and throwing it at the Ukraine, another $44 billion to the Ukraine. A foolish, waste. You might as well flush it down the sewer. We have no business being in the Ukraine. Absolutely none. Zelensky can go fook himself. That's not our problem. This country has no business being involved in that when we've got all of the major problems. Americans are not safe in this country anymore. And Biden wants to fuck with Putin. That is dumb. That is unwise. I don't support Biden, his corrupt, filthy, dirty, lawless son. I can't believe the FBI, the Department of Justice ignores everything the Democrats do. Hillary with her email crap, Benghazi. The Democrats are the mafia in the U.S. They do crimes like the mafia and nothing happens to them. And if you're in danger of exposing any of them, you suddenly end up dead. That's a no-brainer. And we've let America be controlled by evil, self-centered, dark people who do not fear God. They think they are God. Actually, they're led by Satan. And Americans really aren't doing anything to stop it. Telling people residents can't come back to their homes. No reporters, nobody's allowed in there. Oh, really? Every time there's a disaster, all the reporters come flying in there and everything. Fire hydrants didn't work. Siren wasn't sounded. Some dumb thing that Maui people cannot use water to put out fires. What the hell's going on down there? And let me say it again. The people that I feel for when there's a tragedy are the working class, not the rich elites that think that traffic laws and kindness don't apply to them. I have no interest in them. But the working class Mauians who got their home handed down to them by their parents, their ancestors, those are the ones. And I believe and maintain that different cultures need to have their place, their space. And I know that American investors and rich fat cats want to swallow up and salivate all over Maui and help themselves with the cookie jar, but no. Personally, if you want my opinion, Maui should go back to the Pacific Islanders and everybody else ought to vacate the premises. And maybe if we learn to become humble, they might allow us to come visit and enjoy their island. Now it's a U.S. state. But notice, America won't do that same thing for Puerto Rico. Notice that Biden didn't do a damn thing about the uprising in Cuba. And Biden didn't do a damn thing about the uprising in Cuba. He lets Mexicans flood across the border, bringing fentanyl, crime, all kinds of problems to this country. But Cuba, he doesn't want them over here. Why? They lived under Fidel Castro. You know, driving 57 Chevys, long past 57. I was talking to somebody the other day. Remember hearing about Havana cigars, and you don't anymore. What happened? Remember the boxes that used to come in? We played with those as kids, used them to put our pencils and stuff in. Biden doesn't want Cubans over here because they will not vote for Joe Biden. And the Democrats prop up a senile, aging old man, corrupt as hell, hands dirty with money, his son hooked on crack, involved in all kinds of illegal stuff, including sex with underage girls or girl. Nothing happens. Nothing. There's enough videos on YouTube to prove there's some bullshit going on in Maui. And so I need to utter a statement. Not that it matters, not that I have any authority or clout. Leave the islanders, the natives alone. Give them their land. And if you want to buy it, you buy it from them at the price it was worth before the house burned. Because if you sons of bitches that get that land on the cheap, you can say, well, it's fire damage. Doesn't matter. The land alone is worth every bit of what it was before the house burned. But I will tell the Maui people, don't sell. Don't give in. Fight. But I don't know if you're going to win. Evil's rearing its ugly head, and the rich. The book of James is talking about Zuckerberg and Bezos and Oprah. Woe to you, rich men, weep and howl for the miseries that shall come upon you. You've heaped wealth in the last days. Oliver sings about working a job overtime for bullshit pay. Bullshit pay. I'm currently experiencing that. Lots of people are. We're being asked to perform and do more things at work, that we're supposed to fear our managers and we're supposed to be slaves to them. What is going on with this damn country? Why is there not people rising up and saying, no more? They're fucking with Maui. The big rich fat cats, politicians, they're fucking with them. That's not right. That's not right. And that's all I have to say about the matter. This is Pacific signing off.